What popular SUVs are surprisingly unreliable? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Help Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. For this video, I'm going to share 10 extremely popular SUVs that are potential repair nightmares that owners often regret buying. So if you've been shopping for a new SUV, chances are you've considered buying one of these options. But after watching this video, you may want to think twice. Let's get started with the first one at number 10, which is the Nissan Rogue. It's a bit of a shame to include this one because the Rogue is quite an appealing looking SUV with lots of space, a very comfortable drive, and a nice interior with great features and tech, which is why buyers tend to go for it. The problem with the Rogue, however, is that it is just not built with longevity in mind. It uses an overly complicated and overstressed variable compression 3-cylinder turbocharged engine that is a total repair nightmare waiting to happen. It also uses Nissan's infamous Jatco brand CVT, or continuously variable transmission, which historically do not hold up well over time and often fail right outside the warranty period. Now, are there many Rogue owners who have been lucky and have had a great ownership experience? Absolutely there are. But there are also enough complaints, class action lawsuits, recalls, and major out-of-warranty failures to be concerned. Is it really worth taking the chance? I don't think it is. And another extremely popular SUV that falls into this category is the Ford Escape. Like the Rogue, the Escape appears to be an attractive, sensible SUV to go for, but the repair problems with this model are too serious to ignore. The Escape is known for having transmission problems, electrical issues, and several problems with the EcoBoost 3-cylinder and 4-cylinder turbo engines, including coolant intrusion, timing chain problems, turbo failure, and bad cam phasers on the older ones, to name just a few. Given the reliability concerns, owning an Escape EcoBoost beyond the warranty period is just too high of a risk. So this one is definitely best to avoid. And next up on our list of popular but problematic SUVs that you should avoid, we have the Kia Sorento. The Sorento has been a popular go-to choice for those that want a 3-row SUV at the lowest possible price. But sadly, the savings you get on the price come back to bite you in other ways. Like many Kia models, Sorentos famously have a long history of severe engine problems with their 4 cylinders, including complete engine failure. The newer Sorentos, however, have become more famous for having all kinds of electrical problems and a clunky, fail-prone transmission, specifically the dual-clutch transmission used on the 2.5 turbo models. And the concerns would be the same for the Hyundai Santa Fe, which is mechanically identical to the Sorento, sharing the same engines and transmissions. If you really want either of these SUVs, the hybrid seems to be the safest one to go for with the least number of complaints. And speaking of SUVs that are mechanically identical, the next ones that we have on the list come from General Motors, which are the Chevrolet Traverse, GMC Acadia, and Buick Enclave. Again, popular vehicles, especially for those looking for a lot of interior space and cargo space. But historically, these are not very reliable SUVs. The older ones suffered from major transmission and engine problems, especially the early 3.6-liter V6 engine, which were known for consuming oil, timing chain failures, and more. The latest models, however, have moved on from the V6 engine and now use a smaller 2.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder. Will this newer engine be any better? Well, history tells us that it's very unlikely. GM is just not always known for having the best build quality, and especially given how a small, overstressed 4-cylinder engine is not a good option for an extremely large, heavy SUV like these, which have to handle a lot of hauling. You do have better options out there. And another popular 3-row SUV that would have very similar concerns is the Volkswagen Atlas. The Atlas has become a popular choice for those wanting a ton of space. But like other Volkswagens, the reliability is very questionable, and the repair costs are far higher than any comparable domestic or Japanese rival. Atlases are prone to electrical problems, transmission issues, engine problems, oil and coolant leaks, misfiring issues, bad sensors, and sometimes even leading up to total engine failures on the newer ones, which now use a small 2-liter turbo engine. They are attractive SUVs. They drive nicely and have nice interiors, which is why buyers go for them. But they do not age well when compared to the far superior Japanese rivals, and they are far more expensive to repair, making them one to avoid. But when it comes to large 3-row SUVs, none are arguably a bigger reliability concern than the full-sized SUVs from General Motors, which are the Chevrolet Tahoe, Suburban, GMC Yukon, and Cadillac Escalade. Although all are extremely popular choices and very comfortable, great driving SUVs with excellent designs and technology, they all suffer from a major reliability problem, which has to do with the drivetrain. The 10-speed automatic transmission and V8 engines used in these SUVs are all failure prone. This is especially true of the 6.2-liter V8 engine, which tends to experience lifter failure at an alarmingly high rate. Nearly 1 million of these vehicles with these engines were also recently recalled for connecting rod bearing failure, which could cause the engine to seize. Sadly, as nice as these trucks are, the problems are just way too severe to make them worth recommending. Now, moving on to the next SUV. This next one comes from a brand that has been struggling for the past few years, and yet it still remains a very popular choice. And that SUV is the Jeep Grand Cherokee. In fact, the Grand Cherokee 4xe is North America's best-selling plug-in hybrid SUV, which is pretty shocking because this also has to be one of the most unreliable and problematic vehicles on the market. Major potential repair problems include air suspension failure, engine and transmission failure, hybrid battery failure or battery system malfunctions, and countless electrical problems. They are a repair nightmare, which is no surprise coming from a brand like Stellantis, which has spent years cutting costs, cheapening the brands, while simultaneously making them more expensive to buy. It's no wonder why this company is now in serious trouble, and it doesn't end there with the Grand Cherokee, because the next popular SUV that you need to avoid is the Jeep Compass. The popularity of this one really boggles my mind, because the Compass is easily one of the worst SUVs on the market. It is a reliability nightmare, incredibly poorly made, and the only reason it's Jeep's most affordable vehicle is because every single component is made with the lowest quality parts that Stellantis could get their hands on. It is not made to last, but instead fall apart the second the warranty is up. And speaking of causing problems once the warranty period is up, no vehicles arguably do a better job of that than European luxury vehicles. It doesn't really matter which one you pick, whether it's BMW, Audi, or Mercedes. They are nice to drive for the first few years, but once they are out of warranty, the problems begin to pile on with massive repair costs. The worst pick of these three popular German brands, however, has to go to Mercedes and the popular GLC SUV. The GLC is the most likely to experience engine problems, electrical problems, and other reliability issues which keep you in the repair shop and empty your bank account. If you value your money and want to be financially responsible, it is an SUV I would definitely avoid. But these German luxury SUVs are practically like Toyotas when compared to this next popular SUV, which is the Land Rover Range Rover. Every major repair nightmare you can imagine, repair bills beyond logic, a never-ending headache of warranty claims, repair disputes, and draining bank accounts is what defines long-term Range Rover ownership. Few vehicles made today are more likely to have so many problems so early on and so frequently as Range Rovers. It is incredible how popular they are from a sales standpoint, given how problematic and unreliable they are. But it just goes to show that when it comes to high-end vehicles such as this, they are often only leased for 2 to 3 years and then dumped before the tidal wave of serious problems hits. Now, I know that there are many owners of these vehicles that have gotten lucky and have had a good ownership experience and are generally happy with them, and that's great. The point that needs to be made is that purchasing one of these vehicles is not a guarantee of non-stop repair headaches. It just means that there is a higher likelihood when compared to other vehicles. You can certainly get lucky, but if your goal is to minimize your chance of problems, these are the vehicles that are best to avoid. So if you own or have owned any of these vehicles, let me know what your ownership experience has been like. Let me know in the comments. And if you liked and enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you are planning to purchase a vehicle and you live in Ontario, know that OMVIC is the vehicle sales regulator that's responsible for administering and enforcing the rules that dealerships must follow. To learn more about your consumer protection rights, just visit omvic.ca. You can also follow me on Instagram, and if you need any additional car buying advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next new car purchase, make sure to visit carhelpcan.com. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.